Hi, my name is Viral. Get ready to be swept up the captivating tale of Shishir, a name which has become a synonymous in Indian theatre and Indian film industry. In the latest episode of the Curious Banter podcast, Shishir reveals an amazing journey from a shy, timid boy to a revered icon on performing arts. From his debut on the stage to some of the most celebrated projects he has been part of, like Talvar, Raazi, Dangal, to name a few. And of course, his OTT debut with Permanent Roommates. This episode you won't want to miss. In this episode, Shishir recounts on his younger days spent with his both personal and professional friends like Paresh Rawal, Naseeruddin Shah, Irfan Khan. He also recounts some of the most valuable lessons he learned during the journey, the discipline, the punctuality, personal relationships, and a lot more. We are also going to discuss about the complexities of industry, the ups, the downs, the work, the surviving in the hustling city of Mumbai. We are also going to deep dive on some of his cult classic projects, be it a Thara ad commercial or iconic soap opera Swabhimaan. Join us on a profound conversation with Shishir Sharma, from his hostel days to a household name, only in Curious Banter podcast.
Yes,
Enjoy
I was in a
yourself.
boarding school in Andhra, actually. I studied.
So that
in-
explains why you have done many Telugu movies.
That's correct. Not that I know Telugu or not that I can converse in Telugu, but I do understand because when you hear a language, sometimes it stays with you
Mhm.
for a long, long time. You may be not able to converse. I can speak Gujarati.
Yeah.
A little bit, yes, because I understand Gujarati very well. I've also done a Gujarati play.
Yep.
One show, but I've done it. So, studied in Andhra in a school called Rishi Valley School, which was started by Dr. J. Krishnamurthy and Dr. Annie Besant. So, it was in 1962, 63 that I joined the school in class 1. And I left that school in 1970 after 7.5, 8 years of studying there. Suddenly I felt homesick and I wanted to go back. पता नहीं क्यों ऐसे ही एक दिन सुबह उठा और मैंने कहा मुझे वापस आना है
Like
वो
a Swadesh moment in your
पता
life?
नहीं आई डोंट नो क्या हुआ मैंने पिताजी से कहा कि मुझे वापस आना है प्लीज आप आइए और मुझे स्कूल से ले जाइए मुझे यहाँ नहीं पढ़ना है और देन आई फिनिश्ड माय स्कूलिंग फ्रॉम बॉम्बे स्कॉटिश इन माहिम I did my schooling there. Then I finished my business management. I took commerce in Narsimunji College, NM College in Villeparle. And that's where we met, me and my wife. Of course, we met much earlier. But let's not get into that. So, वो खत्म करने के बाद परेश और मैं एक ही क्लास में थे परेश रावल और मैं उस समय इप्टा इज एन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इन मुंबई They used to organize intercollegiate fests.
This was in which year?
72, 73.
Okay.
So they used to organize these intercollegiate festivals where colleges from all over Mumbai used to come and present their plays. Jaydev Atangadi, Rohini Atangadi's husband, directed our play, mine and Paresh's. उस समय से मैं परेश को जानता हूँ और उसके बाद 1973 आई थिंक 72 73 याद नहीं है उसके बाद फिर मैंने परेश के साथ उरी में काम किया
It took
40 odd years.
That is big.
It's very strange because normally in this industry when in the beginning sometimes you cross paths very very soon. लेकिन I came into contact with Paresh only in Uri when we met in the director's office where I had gone for a look test. He had also come there for a look test because he was playing Dowal and I was playing the Indian Army General. So हम वहाँ मिले और फिर हंसे खूब हंसे गले मिले और then we started talking about old times and old
So
days.
in between, you have never.
I never met Paresh. No, we never worked together.
Okay.
ऐसे मिलते
But you
थे
met.
ऐसे मिलते थे पृथ्वी में कभी मिल जाते थे पृथ्वी में वो आते थे प्लेस देखने के लिए ऐसे कभी मिल जाते थे तो मिल जाते थे वरना हमने कभी कोशिश नहीं की एक दूसरे को मिलने की. So that was yes. But anyway,
Typical Bollywood industry.
I don't know. I mean, everybody.
Nothing
is,
against it.
No,
but
no, not at all.
That happens.
But
I mean,
कभी-कभी ऐसा हो जाता है कि you don't meet people for years on end. You know, everybody is busy in their own lives, and yeah, I was also very busy doing television. Paresh did not do that much television. He used to do a lot of work on stage. He is a fantastic actor. There's no doubt about it. उन्होंने काफ़ी स्टेज पे काम किया, गुजराती थिएटर में काम किया, हिंदी थिएटर में काम किया. तो ऐसे कभी हुआ नहीं. तो चलो कभी ना कभी मुलाकात तो हो ही गई परेश के साथ.
How was that meeting with Paresh?
Fantastic. It was superb. When he came into the office, we just looked at each other, we smiled, we hugged, and we said, "वाह, 40 साल के बाद आज मिल रहे हैं." It was some kind of a reunion. And then, of course, we shot Uri in Serbia. इंडिया में शूट बहुत कम हुई थी. मुझे लगता है कश्मीर में शायद कुछ पोर्शंस शूट किए थे उन्होंने. But we were in Serbia. I was, I think, there for about 12 days or so. And he was also there. तो हम वहाँ मिले, वहाँ शूटिंग की, अच्छा लगा. और विकी भी था वहाँ. So, and there were a lot of other actors also. So we were very, very happy and comfortable.
This is my fan moment, actually. Watching you in high-ranking military official role, it really gives me goosebumps for some reason. I don't know why, but your vocal cords and the moment you deliver a sentence or a dialogue, it brings that that impression that this is the military general should look like, should talk like. Have you ever felt that way, or director felt that way?
No, I don't know whether I felt that way, but I generally speak my lines depending on what kind of a character I'm playing. Abhi Raazi mein, I played a Pakistani general. I delivered my lines accordingly.
You speak for quite a deep.
Yes, because we've been taught in theatre to speak from the diaphragm. From the inside and not from here. Because अगर आप यहाँ से चिल्लाएंगे तो आपकी थ्रोट की बैंड बज जाएगी. तो वी वर टोल्ड बाय मेंटोर, गुरु, फादर फिगर जो भी है, जिनका नाम था पंडित सत्यदेव दुबे. उन्होंने हमें काफ़ी कुछ सिखाया और हम सुबह बीच पे जाया करते थे ओम कहने के लिए. नीचे से ऊपर, ऊपर से नीचे ओम कहते रहो.
This was your vocal exercise?
Yeah, vocal exercise.
Okay.
Which helped to a great deal. It didn't help everyone, but it helped me.
Do you still do it?
No, I don't do it now. But I do it when I have my workshops. Whether only when the workshops are in person. Online पे तो कर ही नहीं सकते. जब 1-to-1 workshops होते हैं, जैसे यहाँ हमने किए थे अपने एक्टरों के साथ इसी घर में, वोकल एक्सरसाइज, वो ओम नीचे से ऊपर, ऊपर से नीचे किए थे, तो बहुत अच्छा लगा. क्योंकि सब लोगों को एक एहसास हुआ कि आवाज खुल के बोलना बहुत जरूरी है. दबा के अगर आप बोलेंगे तो कुछ समझ में नहीं आएगा.
But isn't the first rule of the stage that since there is no usage of microphones, you have to be louder to reach to the end of the.
No, there is usage of microphones. ऐसा नहीं है कि
the top one.
ऐसा नहीं है कि माइक्स यूज नहीं करते. हम लोग NCPA में जब हम शो करते हैं, टाटा थिएटर में, बड़े थिएटर में, तब वहाँ माइक्स होते हैं, फुट माइक्स होते हैं, हैंगिंग माइक्स होते हैं. तो वी हैव टू यूज दोज माइक्स. पृथ्वी जैसे थिएटर में ऑब्वियसली माइक्स की जरूरत नहीं है, क्योंकि वहाँ आप ऐसे पिन भी ड्रॉप करो तो सुनाई देता है. जैसे अभी नायडा में हमने शोज किए थे, तो मुझे नहीं लगा कि हमको माइक्स की कहीं भी जरूरत पड़ेगी.
During the training of for a stage, I have heard that often they told you to speak bit louder than you act in movie or.
Of course.
So is that a reason for this? Is that a reason? Or
एक तो if you're not using your mics, I'm louder. I don't think is the right word. I think projection is the right word. If you project your voice, which means the gentleman sitting 3 rows or 10 rows behind you should be able to listen to what I'm saying.
Correct.
My last syllable must be heard and with clarity. तो हम लोग वही कहते हैं कि don't speak loudly. Volume नहीं चाहिए. Throw चाहिए. How do you throw your voice? You have to practice throwing your voice. दैट इज व्हाट इज वेरी नेसेसरी फॉर थिएटर एक्टर्स टू डू, बिकॉज सब जगह माइक्स नहीं होते हैं. कई कई ग्रुप्स कहते हैं कि हमें माइक्स की जरूरत नहीं है, हम वैसे ही बोलेंगे. तो वो जब वैसे बोलते हैं, अगर आवाज नहीं पहुंचती है तो फिर गड़बड़ हो जाती है.
करेक्ट.
तब उसकी वजह से, उसके लिए हमें माइक्स की जरूरत पड़ती है. एंड द फर्स्ट प्रिंसिपल ऑफ बीइंग अ थिएटर स्टेज एक्टर इज टू ट्राई एंड सी दैट you do not eat up the sentences. The first part, मैंने कह दिया कि हेलो विरल, हाउ आर यू. सेकेंड पार्ट ऑफ द सेंटेंस इज, अच्छा विरल कहाँ जा रहे हो, उसके बाद. It has to be much stronger than the first part.
What is the example of eating this sentence?
Not doing this right is if I say, hi विरल कहाँ जा रहे हो, hi विरल कैसे हो तुम.
Oh, okay.
Hi विरल कहाँ जा रहे हो तुम.
Oh, now that explains.
तो वो लास्ट जो वर्ड्स हैं, वो why do you eat them up?
Yes.
You shouldn't eat them up. हाय विरल कैसे हो, इसके बाद कहाँ जा रहे हो. That is the stronger part of the second part of the sentence is has to be much stronger, because it emphasizes your final, if I can say, it clearly states that you are asking a question which is to be answered.
Taking back to your acting journey on stage.
Yes.
One of the podcasts I have heard, you said that from a feedback from director that do not act.
Yeah.
I want to know more about that. What was that? And
no, there were lots of people who said, I think Shishir, you should stop acting. बहुत सारे लोगों ने कहा जब मैंने थिएटर में काम करना शुरू किया, because I didn't know any acting, which is fair enough. I mean, there's nothing to feel bad about, because
no.
मुझे एक्टिंग आती नहीं थी और मुझे एक्टिंग करनी नहीं थी. लेकिन एक सिचुएशन ऐसा पैदा हुआ कि मैंने कहा चलो मैं घुस जाता हूँ, देखते हैं क्या होता है. कुछ शोज करने के बाद मेरा आई हैड अ प्रॉब्लम. ये जो अंगूठा है वो ऐसे ही रहता था, चाहे मैं कोई भी रोल करूं, सिर्फ राइट हैंड का, लेफ्ट हैंड का नहीं. लेफ्ट हैंड का नीचे रहता, राइट हैंड का पता नहीं, डायलॉग बोलते समय ये राइट हैंड का अंगूठा ऊपर आ जाता था. बहुत डांट पड़ी मुझे. अब इसको मैं अंदर कैसे रखूं, ऐसे रखूं तो धीरे धीरे करके बाहर निकलता था. तो दैट वाज, I think, because of nervousness, probably. I don't know. I guess so. धीरे धीरे वो चला गया, अपने आप चला गया, मैंने कुछ भी नहीं किया. तो लोग पहले शुरुआत में कहने लगे कि आई थिंक तुम रहने दो, अच्छा रहेगा. तो
you mentioned in the beginning, a few times sentences before, there was situation which should I use the word force you?
No.
But
Nobody forced me. The situation पैदा ऐसी हुई थी कि दुबे साहब जो हमारे मेंटोर थे, हमारे गुरु थे, हमारे टीचर थे, उन्होंने मुझसे कहा कि तुम एक्टिंग करोगे. पूछा नहीं, कहा कि तुम एक्टिंग करोगे और मैं तुम्हें एक्टर बना के ही छोड़ूंगा. ये उनके शब्द थे. So when he said these words, I was wondering as to why he would say these words, because he's never seen me acting. I've never acted on stage. मैं बोर्डिंग स्कूल में था, मैं बहुत shy था. I was a very, very shy child. I wouldn't make friends in school. So एक्टिंग तो बहुत दूर की बात है. आप 10 लोगों के सामने मुझे एक्ट करने के लिए कहेंगे, तब अगर कहते तो मैं नहीं कर पाता. फिर धीरे धीरे he got the confidence in me, saying that nahi, I know there are problems, no problem. Stage fright बहुत जरूरी है to get rid of your stage fright. अगर आप स्टेज पे जाएंगे तो you cannot suddenly say, अरे बाप रे यहाँ तो 200 लोग हैं, मैं कैसे करूंगा. आपके मन में वो ख्याल आता है कभी कभी. मैंने कहा नहीं, मैं I'll try and overcome this. Let's see what happens. So he said, do it. I know there are difficulties. It is a problem for you. I didn't mind. He was my teacher, but he was a teacher who was a taskmaster. He would never leave something unfinished. So he poked me. और फिर एक टाइम आया कि थिएटर में स्टेज पे काम करना अलग बात है और ऑडियंस से बात करना अलग बात है. तो उन्होंने मुझे ये कॉन्फिडेंस दिलवाया कि यू गो एंड स्पीक टू द ऑडियंस इन पृथ्वी हु सिटिंग देयर 200 पीपल इन द ऑडियंस. जाके उनको ये प्ले के बारे में एक्सप्लेन करो, मैं नहीं आऊंगा. तुमको जाना पड़ेगा। उस समय के बाद मुझे इतना कॉन्फिडेंस आ गया कि मुझे ऐसा लगा कि मैं अब 2000 लोगों के सामने भी बात कर सकता हूँ, मुझे कोई दिक्कत नहीं। वो कॉन्फिडेंस उन्होंने बहुत कमाल का दिलवाया मुझे। एंड दैट इज ओनली बिकॉज वन कैन गो एंड स्पीक टू एन ऑडियंस एंड स्पीक कॉन्फिडेंटली। पसीने पसीने हो गए थे, एयर कंडीशन चल रहा है, लोग मेरे को आके पूछते हैं बाद में, शिशिर व्हाई वर यू एक्सपेक्टिंग सो मच यार, चला एसी चल रहा है। बोला तुम आके बात करो 200 लोगों के साथ, फिर तुम्हें पता चलेगा क्या होता। सो दैट वाज द फर्स्ट टाइम आई एक्चुअली स्पोक एंड देन आई स्टार्टेड स्पीकिंग ऑन प्लेटफॉर्म्स, पीपल यूज्ड टू कॉल मी। मैं गुजरात बड़ौदा भी गया हूँ, पारुल यूनिवर्सिटी उधर भी गया हूँ, एंड आई स्पोक टू 2000 स्टूडेंट्स देयर। सो आई हैड नो प्रॉब्लम, एब्सोल्युटली नो प्रॉब्लम, क्योंकि लोग समझते थे कि शिशिर अच्छा बोलता है, मोटिवेशनल टॉक उसके लिए अच्छा रहेगा, तो मैं जाता था। बट एक्टिंग मुझे भी अभी तक नहीं मालूम कि उन्होंने मुझ में क्या देखा जो मुझसे कहा कि तुम एक्टिंग करोगे।
दुबे जी ने आपको चूज किया व्हेन यू वर एट रत्ना पाठक साउथ।
यस, हम लोग खाना खा रहे थे तो उस समय दरवाजा खोला और उन्होंने कहा कि तुम एक्टिंग करोगे। मैंने कहा मुझे नहीं आती एक्टिंग। नहीं नहीं तुम एक्टिंग करोगे, बस उन्होंने उतना ही कहा, मैं तुम्हें एक्टर बना के ही छोड़ूंगा। और व्हेन ही डाइड आई स्टिल रिमेंबर वेरी क्लियरली, हम शूट कर रहे थे, मैं एक शो कर रहा था यहाँ, मैं घर घर खेली, और मेरी वाइफ का फोन आया कि दुबे जी इज नो मोर। मैं वहीं खड़ा था सोफे पे, वहीं बैठ गया ठक करके।
दिस वाज इन 2011।
This was in 2011. So the director came, Rohit Dwivedi came to me and said, शिशिर क्या हुआ? मैंने कहा ऐसा ऐसा हुआ है, मैं शायद आज नहीं कर पाऊंगा, आई हैव टू रश। सर हाँ प्लीज गो, नो प्रॉब्लम। हॉस्पिटल पहुंचा और सब लोग मेरा वेट कर रहे थे, नसीर साहब भी थे, रत्ना जी भी थी, सब लोग थे वहाँ हॉस्पिटल में। सो आई रीच देयर एंड I went to his room and I just stood there for 5 minutes कि ये शख्स कितने महान थे। Not because he taught me what I was or I am good at now, but because of the foresight he had. And he was instrumental in a lot of people's lives during his life in Mumbai. Lots of people. He touched a lot of lives. So for me and for many others, he was a legacy.
He
if I
was
can say.
awarded at
He was awarded the Sahitya Academy Award.
Sahitya Academy and later on I think Padma Bhushan.
Yes,
Padma Bhushan.
that's right.
Yeah.
तो हमारे लिए दुबे जी सब कुछ थे। उनके साथ मैंने 25 साल काम किया। पहला नाटक था संभोग से संन्यास तक, उनका आखिरी नाटक उन्होंने जो लिखा था वो था इंशाल्लाह। इंशाल्लाह पहले उन्होंने एनएसडी में किया दिल्ली में, फिर हमारे साथ आके यहाँ किया, और उन्होंने उसमें काम भी किया एज वन ऑफ द इंशाल्लाह में, एज इट वाज 60% ऑटोबायोग्राफिकल और 40% इट वाज जो थिएटर के बारे में बातचीत होती है। अब दुबे जी जब महफिल जमती है, अगर यहाँ 10 लोग बैठे हों पूरे, वो बीच में बैठ जाएंगे और ही विल टेक द एंटायर लाइमलाइट और सेंटर स्टेज और व्हाटएवर एंड टॉक ओनली अबाउट थिएटर, और कुछ नहीं बात करते थे, कुछ नहीं। तो जब ये हादसा हुआ तब मैंने जाके वहां खड़े होके यही सोचा कि व्हाट अ मैन टू इवन थिंक दैट आई कुड एक्ट और आई कुड गिव हिम व्हाट ही वांटेड। इंशाल्लाह में वही हुआ। 25 शो किया हमने, वो 2-2 शो करते थे दिन में, और 2-2 घंटे का प्ले था, तो एक शाम में हम 2 शो करते थे, एक 6 बजे एक 9 बजे। उनकी वो ताकत थी, उनकी वो हैसियत थी कि वो 2 शो करते थे। फिर एक पॉइंट के बाद उन्होंने कहा कि शिशिर अब मुझसे नहीं होता। सो देन द बेटन वाज पास्ड ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट जनरेशन हु वांटेड टू कंटिन्यू दैट पर्टिकुलर प्ले। तो अलग लोगों ने वो प्ले किया। टिस्का चोपड़ा उसमें थी, मेरी बीवी बनी थी उसमें ट्विंकल कपाड़िया भी थी मुझे लगता है, और वहाँ वो भी थी शायद। वो पहला प्ले था उनका, पहला और आखिरी प्ले। उसके बाद उन्होंने काम ही नहीं किया। बस टिस्का डिड अ लॉट ऑफ वर्क। अभी भी टिस्का बहुत बेहतरीन एक्ट्रेस हैं। तो वो दौर कुछ और था।
Do you remember any piece of word, a piece of advice which touched your heart from Dubey ji?
दुबे जी बहुत कम बोला करते थे एक्टरों को। ही नेवर यूज्ड टू प्रेज द एक्टर्स। ही हैड दिस, आई डोंट नो, उनका एक वो स्ट्रेटजी थी कि क्या था पता नहीं, बट ही नेवर सेड एनीथिंग टू द एक्टर्स मोर देन कि हाँ अच्छा किया तुमने। ही नेवर प्रेज्ड। नसीर साहब को भी बहुत कम प्रेज किया करते थे वो, लेकिन जब प्रेज करते थे तो नसीर साहब को बहुत प्रेज करते थे। रत्ना और नसीर को उन्होंने 2-3 नाटक किए रत्ना और नसीर के साथ इंग्लिश में, बर्नार्ड शॉ के 2-3 नाटक किए। और जब मैंने इंशाल्लाह किया था उनके साथ, जो जो मेरा सबसे बड़ा रोल था, और उनके साथ सामने बैठ के मुझे समझ में नहीं आता था कि वो एक डायरेक्टर की हैसियत से देख रहे हैं मुझे या एक एक्टर की हैसियत से देख रहे हैं। सुनते थे, लेकिन शो के बाद वो कहते थे कि हाँ तुमने ये लाइन बहुत अच्छी बोली, ये लाइन ऐसी बोलो अगले शो में। नेवर सेड एनीथिंग बियॉन्ड दैट, बट ही यूज्ड टू से कि अच्छा किया तो अच्छा किया, नहीं किया तो गाली मत ली थी।
So, outsider like me, getting into theater back in that time or back in even today, you know, many artists or many aspirants will have, question around what should its commercial value will be in theater. So, for outsider like me or many others, this podcast is targeting mainly the Gen Z, generation who has no idea or very little idea of what a stage, what a theater looks like. So the question is, what is the commercial value look like for the theater artist back then and today?
No, there is no commercial value. Absolutely, for Hindi theater, there was never any kind of commercial value. हम लोग we used to live from hand to mouth in theater. हम लोग खुद अपना सेट, मेरी एक वैन हुआ करती थी, मारुति वैन, उसमें जितना भी सामान आता था वो हमारा सेट हुआ करता था। तो वी यूज्ड टू कम, परफॉर्म, गेट आउट, कम, परफॉर्म, गेट आउट। अगर बाहर जाना हो, अगर इतना सेट हमारे गाड़ी में आता है तो हम ये प्ले कर सकते हैं, नहीं आता है तो फिर दिक्कत हो जाती, क्योंकि हमारे पास पैसे नहीं हुआ करते थे। हमको जो भी पैसे मिलते थे वो टिकट सेल से मिलते थे, और हमको पृथ्वी को पैसे देने पड़ते थे एज रेंट। उस समय बहुत ही कम रेंट हुआ करता था, लेकिन वी टू चार्ज अस ट्यूसडेज वेनेसडे को 15 रुपए पर पर्सन। ठीक है, जितनी भी ऑडियंस आई 15 रुपए, दे टू बाय अ टिकट फॉर 15 bucks. वी टू पे अ रेंट ऑफ 1 rupee to Prithvi.
This was in 70s.
This was in when I think late 70, early 80s.
Okay.
Because I think Prithvi started around 1978 if I'm not mistaken. तो उस समय ऐसा हुआ करता था, पर वो टिकट सेल से हमको कुछ भी नहीं मिलता था, क्योंकि हमको रेंट भी देना पड़ता था, चाय के पैसे भी देने पड़ते थे, स्त्री वाला आता था उसको भी पैसे देने पड़ते थे। तो वी यूज्ड टू हैव नथिंग, सो there was no commercial value at all.
So, out of curiosity,
we did theater for the love of doing theater. It was passion, and that is why I've always said, if you have that passion in you to do anything, लीव अलोन थिएटर, अगर आप पैशन है पेंटिंग का या म्यूजिक का या सिंगिंग का या राइटिंग का, कीजिएगा, बट डोंट इक्वेट इट विथ एनी कमर्शियल वैल्यू टू इट। जैसे हम थिएटर में मैं कहता हूं हमेशा कि डू नॉट यूज थिएटर एज अ स्टेपिंग स्टोन टू द फिल्म इंडस्ट्री। थिएटर एक जगह है, वो आपका पैशन है। थिएटर की वजह से आपको काम मिलेगा वो अलग बात है, आप काम कीजिएगा, बट लोगों को मत बुलाइएगा और कहिएगा कि मैं थिएटर कर रहा हूं और मुझे काम दो।
That is a big piece of it.
There's a huge difference in that. अगर आप डायरेक्टर हैं या प्रोड्यूसर हैं या प्रोडक्शन कंपनी संभालते हैं या चलाते हैं, मैं आपको बुला के ये नहीं कहूंगा कि प्लीज मेरा प्ले है देखो और अगर हो सके तो मुझे काम दे देना। आप आए, मेरा प्ले देखें, मुझे कहें कि आपको हमारी फिल्म में काम करना है, मैं करूंगा। You don't know me.
Yes.
You're a third person. Don't use that as a stepping stone. एक पैशन अलग है, उस पैशन को प्रोफेशन मत बनाइए.
Do you feel that this is easier said than done?
It is surely easier said than done, because not many people understand the reasoning behind this. लोग थिएटर क्यों करते हैं? क्योंकि वो सोचते हैं कि अगर मैं थिएटर करूंगा, लोग थिएटर में आएंगे और मुझे देख के कहेंगे कि हाँ, मेरी फिल्म में काम करो.
Try to use as a ladder.
Yes, don't use that. आप थिएटर करना चाहते हैं, आप अपने पैशन के लिए थिएटर कीजिए. That is why I say don't use it as a stepping stone.
That is deep.
If you want to use it as a stepping stone, better not to do theater. Because it's I think it is, well, I don't know. I mean, the youngsters don't understand this. आज के ज़माने की जो लड़के हैं, लड़कियां हैं जो थिएटर करना चाहते हैं, वो थिएटर इसलिए करते हैं क्योंकि उनको फिल्म इंडस्ट्री में काम मिले. वो थिएटर इसलिए नहीं करना चाहते हैं क्योंकि वो पैशन
है
कि कुछ सीखें. थिएटर में बहुत कुछ सीखने को मिलता है. Your grassroots level of acting comes from stage. Your discipline comes from stage. Your focus comes from stage. What you want to do in life comes from stage.
Theater as a domain, theater as a product, entertainment domain, came from the West predominantly. In India there used to have a street play, but not like theater kind of a play. It came from Britishers predominantly, where the Shakespeare's and other plays are happening.
क्यों हमारे इंडिया में रामलीला हुआ करता था.
Ramlila, yeah, it's a street play.
Correct. I mean, there was an audience.
There was an audience. Yeah.
So what is theater? Theater is an audience, right?
Yeah.
मैं नसीर साहब ने एक बहुत अच्छी बात कही थी एक कॉन्फ्रेंस में. मैं उनको कोट कर रहा हूँ. एक कॉन्फ्रेंस में किसी ने पूछा कि हम आपका ग्रुप ज्वाइन कर सकते हैं क्या, या फलाना ग्रुप ज्वाइन कर सकते हैं क्या. तो नसीर साहब ने एक बहुत कमाल का जवाब दिया. ग्रुप ज्वाइन करने की क्या जरूरत है? आप एक कविता ले लीजिए, एक कहानी ले लीजिए, वो याद कर लीजिए, अपने दोस्तों को बुलाइए घर पे, वो थिएटर हो गया.
Indeed.
तो व्हाट इज दिस होल हवा कि हमको एक संस्था से जुड़ना है इसलिए हम थिएटर करना चाहते हैं. थिएटर तो मैं यहाँ इतने लोग 10-12 लोग बैठ जाएं, मैं वहां आके परफॉर्म करूं, मेरे लिए तो वो थिएटर है ना.
Absolutely.
मेरा तो पैशन सेटिस्फाई हो गया कि नहीं. सो इफ यू आर पैशनेट अबाउट इट, यू डोंट हैव टू वेट फॉर समवन, यू कैन डू इट योरसेल्फ.
Yeah.
2 लोगों को ले लो, एक कहानी ले लो, 12 लोगों को बुलाओ, अपने दोस्तों को बुलाओ, अगर आपको इंटरेस्ट है तो. इफ यू आर गोइंग टू वेट कि हम ज्वाइन करेंगे, उसके बाद ये होगा, उसके बाद वो होगा, उससे नहीं होता. वो फिर भूल जाइए आप. फिर आप में वो क्षमता नहीं है कि आप कुछ करें. वो दिखाई देना पड़ता है, वो दिखाई देना चाहिए कि यू हैव दैट फायर इन यू टू वांट टू डू समथिंग इन लाइफ. यू वांट टू लर्न. एक पीस इधर आके कर लो, 20 लोगों को बुला लो, अपने दोस्तों को बुला लो, फैमिली मेंबर्स को बुला लो, बोलो मैं थिएटर करना चाहता हूँ, ये मेरा फर्स्ट अटेम्प्ट है, आप मुझे बताइए कि कैसा है. कॉन्फिडेंस आता है. आप फिर डिसिप्लिन होती है चीजें. आपने एक कहानी याद किया या कविता याद किया, जो भी दोस्तों के साथ की हो, अकेले की हो, जो भी, दैट इज व्हाट मेक्स यू अ फॉर्मिडेबल पर्सन to want to do acting, to want to become an actor. Acting इतने आसान नहीं, खाने का लड्डू नहीं है कि आप अपने गांव छोड़ के आ गए, बोरिया बिस्तर बांध के आ गए. हमने कहा कि चलो हम एक्टिंग करते हैं, और सभी लोग बम्बई आते हैं. हम पहले ही बात कर रहे थे, आपने वो जिक्र किया था, डेथ एंड इनएविटेबिलिटी.
मुंबई आपकी,
but that is, come to Bombay, okay, fine, you come, but don't be disillusioned by the fact that if you don't get work, you want to go back because you don't know what is in store for you.
What is in store for you?
मुझे पता नहीं कि कल क्या होगा. कल शायद रात को आज मुझे मैसेज आए कि सर वी आर कास्टिंग यू इन अ फिल्म. हो गई, खत्म बात. बट आई डोंट नो व्हाट इज इन स्टोर फॉर मी टुमारो. सो एक्टर्स आर इनसिक्योर इन एनी केस. हम लोग भी इनसिक्योर हैं. बहुत सारे एक्टर्स हैं. अगर मैं नहीं तो आप हैं, आप नहीं तो कोई और है. तो फिर डोंट बी डिसिल्यूशन्ड बाय द फैक्ट दैट हमको चांस नहीं मिला, हमको एक्टिंग का मौका नहीं मिला. खाने का लड्डू नहीं है, आपको जाना पड़ता है. यू हैव टू बी strong enough to face failure. How do you face failure? By going back home and crying? No. You have to face failure by attacking.
Accepting it.
And accepting the failure. 4 और ऑडिशन पे जाओ. कितने ऑडिशंस करेंगे आप? आपको रहना भी है. बम्बई एक ऐसा शहर है जो which is not a very friendly kind of a city.
Yeah.
For youngsters and newcomers.
Not pocket friendly.
Not pocket friendly at all. It's damn expensive. जब तक आप 1 लाख 1.5 लाख रुपया कमाएंगे नहीं, तब तक कुछ होगा नहीं. आपको पैसे भी देने पड़ते हैं, रेंट का भी देना पड़ता है, फिर आपको एक अच्छा मोबाइल भी चाहिए, फिर आपको सिगरेट भी पीनी है, आपको टैक्सी में भी घूमना है, ऑटो में नहीं घूमेंगे क्योंकि क्यों भाई हम एक्टर हैं. सो दीज काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स हैव टू बी लुक्ड एट रियलिस्टिकली. यू कैन नॉट predetermine what you want to do. Come to Mumbai, by all means come. But then see that you are not in a position to go back. You don't want to go back because you have failed. You have to fight that failure.
And I think competition is with infinity.
It will be there. Competition is there in every field. अगर आपको ladder climb करना है तो आपको देखना पड़ेगा कि where do you get the chance to climb that ladder.
Is it very crucial and extremely important to sell yourself? Sell is the word I'm using.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. You don't need to say. I mean, if you have the talent in you, people will recognize your talent. If you don't have the talent, then you have to create the talent. Then you have to work yourself up. You have to work hard. You have to really, really work hard. आजकल रियाज कोई करता नहीं है. हिंदी थिएटर में चाहे ले लो या इंग्लिश थिएटर में रियाज कोई नहीं करता है. डांस में रियाज सब जो डांस करना चाहते हैं पहले स्टेज पे जाने से पहले रियाज बहुत करते हैं. सिंगर्स कितना रियाज करते हैं, 5-5, 6-6 घंटे रियाज करते हैं. ऐसे ही नहीं मतलब महान बन गए. सो यू हैव टू स्टडी. ऑपरेटिव वर्ड इज स्टडी. पीटर ओटूल ने बहुत अच्छी एक बात कही थी. द वर्ड स्टडी comes from your determination to do something. You have to put yourself in that position that you are doing something. You want to do something in life. बैठे बैठे कुछ नहीं मिलता.
Sooner or later, you will be rewarded with something which will be bigger. Will be size bigger in something.
Even if you're not rewarded, you don't have to look for rewards all the time. It is your personal satisfaction.
Yes.
I always tell people, अगर मैं थिएटर छोड़ भी दूं, लेकिन थिएटर मुझे नहीं छोड़ेगा. So I don't want to be in that situation where I am forced to leave theatre for some strange reason. Suppose I migrate to some other place जहाँ theatre नहीं है. लेकिन theatre will not leave me because I know that I will try and do something and create my own theatre there.
You have done theatre predominantly in Indian drama. Have you done any international play in completely international?
No. We have only done हमारा दुबे जी के साथ ग्रुप हुआ करता था. फिर हमने अपना ग्रुप शुरू किया जिसका नाम था अर्पणा. सुनील शानबाग, मैं, आकाश खुराना, उत्कर्ष मजूमदार, हरीश पटेल. हमने एक ग्रुप शुरू किया अर्पणा और हम प्लेस करते रहे. अभी तक करते हैं. पिछले 2 साल में तो नहीं किया क्योंकि कोविड की वजह से बहुत कुछ मिस हो गया था. और आजकल OTT की वजह से बहुत सारे अच्छे एक्टर्स जो हमारे साथ थे वो सब बिजी हो गए. तो उनके ऊपर भी ज्यादती नहीं होनी चाहिए कि हमने प्ले किया और वहाँ उनकी रोजी रोटी छीन रही है. नहीं, वो नहीं हम करना चाहते हैं.
Do you feel at some stage that internet or the penetration of internet has taken over that eager and the zeal of getting onto the stage for a new experience?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, if people do stage.
And it's not wrong.
No, it's not wrong.
Yeah.
If people want to do stage, they will do stage irrespective of whether there is an opportunity on the net or in a film or on an OTT platform. Doesn't really matter. मैं एक बहुत अच्छा एग्जांपल देना चाहता हूँ. कुमुद मिश्रा एक बहुत कमाल के एक्टर हैं. हमारे साथ उन्होंने बहुत थिएटर किया, स्टेज किया. उन्होंने कभी ऐसा नहीं सोचा कि क्योंकि मुझे ये फिल्म मिल रही है मैं थिएटर छोड़ दूं, या क्योंकि मैंने डेट शिशिर को दे रखी है ये प्ले के लिए मैं ये डेट कैंसिल करके फिल्म करने चला जाऊं. ऐसा कभी नहीं सोचा उन्होंने. 10-12 साल वो थिएटर करते रहे. नसीर साहब भी, अगर उनकी प्ले की डेट हो और उसी समय किसी फिल्म के लिए कहा जाए तो वो फिल्म छोड़ देंगे, थिएटर नहीं छोड़ेंगे.
Wow.
तो एक that's why I'm saying, that is why I'm saying discipline and dedication. It is an extreme necessity for any actor. मैं आज भी कहूँगा कि अगर किसी को भी आजकल के नौजवान जो भी हैं, जो भी ये कार्यक्रम सुनेंगे बाद में, if you want to be an actor, 7 years minimum.
7 years?
Stage. It grooms you. It gives you that discipline in life. You become a disciplined person. You will understand only when you start doing theatre why I'm saying disciplined person. इतने आसान है. ठीक है, word discipline मतलब you understand the meaning of discipline. But what is the meaning of a disciplined actor? You will come to know only then.
So after you started on theatre and your first soap opera, Swabhimaan, I still remember that iconic music and that opera. I was, I think, 5 or 6 and it was afternoon slot.
3:30.
3:30. It was weird time because usually we get on TV at 9 p.m.
Yes.
A sweet time of most Indian households.
Yes.
But the 3:30 follow before that there was Shanti,
yes.
and after Shanti there was Swabhimaan.
Yes.
I used to take a very dedicated those 1 or 2 hours for both of the serials and used to watch eagerly.
क्योंकि वो रात को भी आता था.
Repeat telecast was in the
I
night.
think 11 o'clock in the night.
But then since I have to
yeah,
push
of course,
to a school,
yes.
so TV always shut down at 10.
क्योंकि कुछ लोग दोपहर का भी देखते थे and they used to watch the night episode also. The same episode was telecast on the night. Yeah, at that time there was only DD1.
DD1.
So Swabhimaan was there. Shanti came much before us.
Yeah.
So there were a couple of serials that were very, very good on DD1.
Tell me your experience on getting onto Swabhimaan, the process and your feedback as an actor.
मुझे और मैं एक्चुअली एक प्ले कर रहा था और उस समय हमारे दोस्त थे विनोद रंगनाथ जिन्होंने स्वाभिमान शोभाडे के साथ लिखा. तो विनोद ने मुझसे कहा कि शिशिर एक रोल है लेकिन 25 एपिसोड का रोल है, नेगेटिव है, फलाना आदमी से जाके मिल लो फिल्म सिटी में ऑन द सेट. मैं जाके मिला. स्वाभिमान hadn't started by then. So I went and met the gentleman and he said, come tomorrow, Bhatt साहब will be here और हम आपको एक सीन देंगे, वो कर लीजिएगा. अब मुझे ये नहीं मालूम था कि मनोज बाजपेयी विल ऑल्सो बी देयर.
Yes.
तो मेरी पहली मुलाकात मनोज से स्वाभिमान में हुई. हम दोनों का एक सीन था, मेरा और मनोज का. सुबह से बैठे रहे, शाम को हमको बुलाया एक सीन के लिए. भट्ट साहब थे. 3 कैमरा सेटअप लाइक इट इज नाउ. एक 2 शॉट, एक क्लोज खत्म. हमने वो सीन किया और उन्होंने कहा कि हम आपको रात को बताएंगे कि वेदर यू आर चोजन और यू बीन ऐसे. ठीक है. मैंने मनोज से कहा कि भैया अगर तुम्हें फोन आए तो मुझे फोन कर देना, मुझे पास फोन आए तो मैं तुम्हें फोन कर दूंगा. तो दोनों का फोन एक साथ एक के बाद एक आया. हम कहा कि आई एम देयर, आर यू देयर? ही सेड आई एम आल्सो देयर. वेरी गुड. तो हमने शूटिंग शुरू की. कमाल के लोग थे. बहुत सारे डायरेक्टर्स आए, बहुत सारे गए, लेकिन आखिरी में जो डायरेक्टर रह गए उनका नाम था गोगी आनंद. वो विजय आनंद के फैमिली से बिलोंग करते थे. तो हमने बहुत सारे एपिसोड्स किए. मुझे 25 एपिसोड से कुछ 400-500 एपिसोड हो गए थे. मेरा कैरेक्टर बहुत पॉपुलर हो गया था. मनोज का कैरेक्टर, आशुतोष राणा भी थे उसमें, कुमुद मिश्रा थे, किट्टू गिडवानी थी, अंजू महेंद्र थी, बहुत सारे एक्टर्स थे, चन्ना रूपरेल थी. मतलब इतने एक्टर्स थे कि कुछ पूछो मत यार. सो दैट वाज वन प्रोग्राम व्हिच आई थिंक gave the industry a fair amount of talent. रोहित रॉय, दीपक पराशर, प्रभास सिन्हा, इतने एक्टर्स थे कि कुछ पूछो मत. सो हमारी जर्नी हमारे लिए तो 9 to 6 जॉब था. सो वी यूज्ड टू शूट फ्रॉम 9 till 6 o'clock, फिर उसके बाद बंद. नो शूटिंग आफ्टर दैट. तो उस जमाने में हम लोग सिर्फ एक शिफ्ट किया करते थे.
Nowadays they have to work almost 15 hours.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So 12 hours is minimum. आपको काम करना ही करना है. हम तो नहीं करते ज्यादा, 12 घंटे से ज्यादा मैं नहीं काम करता. लेकिन कुछ ऐसे एक्टर्स हैं जो करते हैं क्योंकि उनको एक तो वो लीड्स हैं. अगर आप लीड पेयर हैं किसी शो के लिए तो आपको वो तो करवाएंगे. आपको अलग से पैसे देंगे नहीं वो, क्योंकि यू आर कॉन्ट्रैक्टेड फॉर 25 days in a month. सो आपको एक लमसम अमाउंट मिलता है.
So they don't mention hours.
No, they don't mention hours. Definitely not. तो हम लोग सिर्फ 9 to 6 किया करते थे और घर जाते थे पैसे लेके. मतलब महीने के आखिर में हमको पैसे मिलते थे और हम चले जाते थे. The experience of working with these kind of actors was tremendous. हम अभी भी, हमारा एक ग्रुप है, स्वाभिमान का ग्रुप है, जो हम अक्सर एक दूसरे को हेलो हाय बोलते रहते हैं, या दिवाली पे हेलो दिवाली, हैप्पी दिवाली कह दी, या अभी गुरु पूर्णिमा थी, गुरुपुरब.
You stay connected.
We stay connected and we like to stay connected. कभी अगर मौका मिले तो किसी के घर में जाके खाना खा लिया. So yeah, we like to stay connected because we became a family.
Cult classics like Swabhimaan or Sarabai, it creates
Absolutely.
that family.
Absolutely.
Family
it
bonding.
did create that family.
Yeah, it creates a family.
We created that family for ourselves and we enjoy being with each other. हम लोग उस जमाने के बारे में बात किया करते हैं, क्या हुआ था तब.
Yeah.
अच्छा तो वो सीन में था क्या, अच्छा नहीं था तो कहाँ था, I don't know. तो वैसे कुछ
कई राज भी खुलते हैं.
हाँ नहीं पता नहीं, अभी तक तो कोई राज खुला नहीं है. अच्छा लगता है जब ऐसी बातें होती हैं
I have
दोस्तों
a
के
very,
साथ.
very curious question. You may choose not to answer. 1994 and the soap opera, Indian soap opera. I think Swabhimaan and Shanti was a stepping stone to to come into limelight. That television can have such a grand success. What was the monetary position of actors, lead actors,
It was
character actors?
pretty good.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Okay.
उस जमाने के हिसाब से तो it was very nice.
It's because it was associated with Mahesh Pant.
No, no, ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं. क्योंकि कोई और सैटेलाइट चैनल था ही नहीं, कोई और कंपटीशन था ही नहीं. It was DD. So we used to get a fair amount of money. I mean, nobody complained about money at that time. क्योंकि आपके खर्चे भी उतने नहीं हुआ करते थे. आपको दिन, महीने में 10-12 दिन आप शूट करते हैं. रोज जाना, रोज वापस आना, घर जाना, खत्म हो गई बात. तो at the end of the month we used to take a fair amount of money.
And Swabhimaan, as an opera, was set on a structure of showing the high class of
Correct.
Indian upper middle class.
Correct.
So that explains that the reward opposite to it has to match that. Otherwise, you won't be able to play that role of oh my God, he's living at Nepean Sea Road or at Bandras and all these things. So
Well,
that explains.
No, as actors, I think you have to adapt yourself to a lot of roles and characters that you play. It is unfortunate that, unfortunate, no, I'm being a little harsh on myself. But it is because of my persona that I do not get roles which are slightly light-hearted. Then I come to Permanent Roommates. Permanent Roommates was my very first foray into being not the strict principal, not the strict disciplinarian, not the strict general or army officer or CBI officer or police officer. It was who I was.
Yes.
As a father.
I'll come to OTT part, but before that, after that, of course, after the ad commercials, your first Bollywood debut with Satya.
Yeah.
Small role, but it was a
2002, I think.
2002?
I don't know. I'm not too sure.
No. Satya was in 1998.
Achha, okay.
1998.
Yeah, it was a small role. But I did it because एक तो Manoj था उसमें, and it was Anurag Kashyap asked me to come and do this role. Anurag and me, of course, go back many, many years. But he said, there is this gentleman by the name of Ram Gopal Verma who's doing a film called Satya. And there's a small role. I want you to do that role. So I said, I don't mind. I'll come and meet him.
In the beginning also, you just mentioned before you get the Swabhimaan that somebody approached you and said that in Film City, go meet XYZ person. There's something for you. Brings my question. Is it necessary to have the connections or right connections to get into some of the crucial or bigger projects?
Not necessarily. If you have the merit, if you have the credit, and if you're credible on screen, if you've shown that there is a possibility for you to do whatever you're doing, and you can carry on with that character, and if they feel fit, and if they feel that you're fit enough to do that, I don't see any reason why they will not cast you. So for me, it was because of my persona, I got those kind of roles. And that's why in Satya also I did investigating officer.
Yeah.
It was a small scene, but people remember that scene.
People remember your face.
Yeah.
Your face value has something. I don't know how to describe that. No, it's I'm not joking. I'm being very serious. Your face value, the moment I saw you in Dhara ad commercial, when you said that, magar 20-25 saal baad.
Yeah.
My dad never had a mustache. In that scene, you had a mustache.
Yes.
I told my dad that why don't you keep the mustache like him? He looks so cute. I'm serious. Like, I carry that face value that, since then, I don't know how coincidental it is. The Dhara ad commercial where you were the dad and you just said 2 lines, and the line you said in Permanent Roommate.
Yeah, Dhara was my very first commercial. It was with Kavita Kapoor and Fazan, the little boy, and Sam Kerawala. Directed by Shubir and Namita from White Lights. Yes, that was my very, very first ad. And I was so scared, so petrified, very nervous.
Never looked like that.
Well, it was the number of takes that happened. And they were very, 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 very strict about certain positions that you take on certain lines. Although I had just that one line, but that was an iconic line.
Do you mind if I can ask you to say that? Okay, I will say you. Okay, my mom is asking me, so क्या सोचा आपने? Okay, she's asking क्या सोचा आपने? So I'll say that जाना तो है
मगर 20-25 साल बाद.
Wow. Thank you so much. That was amazing. So after Satya, I think the most celebrated and renowned project you had was I think Raazi.
No, I did a lot of films after Satya. I did Om Jai Jagdish.
Om Jai Jagdish, I know. Yeah.
I did Sarkar Raj with Bachchan Saab. I did Bombay Boys. I did many films. I don't know. I don't remember.
No,
but
you
these
have
are some of the
series of projects.
Yes, but these are some of the important films in my life. Yes. Started with Mary Com.
Yeah.
Then came Dangal. Then came Talwar. Then came Raazi. Then came Uri. Then came Chichore.
Really like your role in Talwar. I don't know why it was, for some reason, it wasn't that commercially.
Yeah, it didn't do commercially. It didn't do very well. But
it was.
I think critically it was acclaimed.
Excellent.
Yeah, it was a fantastic film.
Yeah.
Fantastic film. Very beautifully handled by Meghna ji. Brilliantly written by Vishal Bharadwaj. And to top it all, the icing on the cake was Irfan Khan. To work with a man of his caliber was a dream come true. I knew Irfan for very long. We used to play cricket together.
Wow.
एक ज़माने में हम उनका अलग नेट हुआ करता था, हमारा अलग नेट हुआ करता था. लेकिन हम लोग सुबह हेलो हाय चाय पीते थे.
During the school days, you mean?
No, college
days. Yeah.
Even after college, I kept playing cricket. We had a cricket team, a film fraternity cricket team, जिसमें विशाल भारद्वाज थे, टॉम वॉल्टर साहब थे, नसीर साहब थे, बहुत सारे फिल्म के लोग जुड़े हुए थे. So we had a team called MCC, Match Cut Club. Why Match Cut Club? Because every one frame is match cut to the next frame. So that's why it was called MCC, Match Cut Club. तो उस समय Irfan साहब used to come and play cricket at the same ground, different nets. And then I did 2 ads with him, with Irfan. So रात को अच्छा, it was lovely, and I never expected that I would actually work with Irfan again. But then Meghna ji started this film called Talvar, and I got a call one morning at I think 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning by Hani Trehan, who was the casting director then. He said, Shishir, please reach so-and-so office at 9:30. I said, यार अभी तो 7:30 हो गए, कैसे पहुंचूंगा मैं? थोड़ा वक्त तो चाहिए. He said, नहीं, you have to just reach there. So I reached there, and Meghna ji saw me, sat me down, talked to me. He said, go and try your costume. So I didn't know.
Have you worked with Meghna ji before Talwar?
No. Meghna ji did 2-3 films, and then she took a break, I think for about 4.5 years, and then she did Talwar. So जब Meghna ji Talwar कर रही थी, तो Irfan Khan was already there, Soham Shah was already there, Neeraj Kavi was there, Konkana Sen was already there in the film. They had already cast. They wanted this one person to cast who also was slightly negative, the character that I played. There was Prakash Baliwadi also in the film, who played Irfan's boss before I took over from Prakash. So it was.
I think one of the reason or the parallel thing I can see for Talwar is the same script and same storyline. There was another movie around the same time.
Yes.
So do you think that could be the reason Talwar didn't commercially?
No. Talwar was a far superior film.
Yeah, no doubt.
It didn't matter.
Yeah.
See, you never know about the Indian audiences. So it is very difficult to measure, and you cannot compare 2 films, although they're the same subject. But I don't think that was the reason for Talwar not being commercially successful. It was critically highly acclaimed all over the world. It went to Toronto. From there, and Times of India was behind the film in terms of, I think they were the people who promoted the film, and they used to have a photograph every day at the back page of Times of India or Bombay Times, and it did so well at Toronto. And unfortunately, people did not see the true content of that film. It was, of course, people loved that film, and I think that was Meghna ji's best. Although Raazi was a more successful film box office wise, but I think Talwar is probably one of the highest rated films today. Whoever has seen it, because it's a very thin line. You're talking about a true story. Raazi was also a true story, but this was a murder case.
Yep.
You couldn't go wrong.
No.
You had to be on that line. You go this way, you fall. You go this way, you'll fall. Finished. So I think Meghna ji was fantastic, meticulous work in Talwar. And I have told every actor that asks me, who do you think is the best that you worked with? And I can easily say Meghna Gulzar. Second comes Nitesh Tiwari.
Nitesh Tiwari. How was your experience with Irfan Khan?
Superb. Absolutely. See, because I knew him from cricket playing days, it became easier. I mean, he was a fantastic actor. Absolutely brilliant. I mean, we learned so much from him. His whole casualness to acting was what, brought the goosebumps. He was one person who could sit in front of the camera and just go on and on and on and on. And we'd just be mesmerized by what he was doing.
He lost in the skin of the character. He goes much deeper into the
Much, yes, of course. If you see Talwar and if you see certain scenes where he's interrogating Neeraj Kabi, for example, he's playing with the phone, but he's also talking to him without eye contact. And he knows कि मैं अगर eye contact करूंगा तो उसकी वैसे ही फट जाएगी. So let me play with the phone. अच्छा तुम उस दिन कहाँ थे? Oh. तो हमने तो सुना तुम घर पे थे. It was so easy for him. And
effortless.
Absolutely effortless. Absolutely. And that was one of the trademarks of Irfan. Really, really. I mean, miss him a hell of a lot in this industry. And he went off too soon.
Indeed, went out too soon. There are very few individuals in industry where people who is at a far end of economic structure or any kind of hierarchy misses that individual.
Yeah.
Irfan is that one of those.
He's one of those. Absolutely. I mean, par excellence. His acting abilities were absolutely fantastic. After
that, your most celebrated project, Raazi.
Yes.
Love each and every bit of the movie, be it your character or be it the entire screenplay.
Yeah.
Each and every piece was masterpiece. Take us through that experience. How did you get, first of all, how did you get into the...
So after Talwar, I had told Meghna ji once we wrapped up Talwar that I want to work with her again. The only way I could send my message across was through WhatsApp. My message karta raha. And then one day she said, Shishir sir, if I have a role for you, I will let you know. Rest assured. I said, okay. उसके बाद मैंने मैसेजेस करना बंद कर दिया. एक दिन मैं दोपहर को उठा 4 बजे 4:30 बजे करीब. फोन देखता हूँ तो मेघना गुलजार का मिस्ड कॉल. सोचा मैं सपना तो नहीं देख रहा हूँ. I called my wife and I said, pinch me. I don't want tea, but just come and pinch me. I said, look who's called. Meghna Gulzar has called.
After how many years?
2016 or 2017 we started shooting
After
Raazi.
2 years.
Yeah. तो मेघना जी को फोन किया मैंने. उन्होंने कहा कि you said you wanted to act with me in my next film. I have a role for you. Whoa. I said, wow, fantastic. Go and meet so-and-so. He's the casting person. He will tell you what the role is all about. So I went and met him. He told me what the role was all about. I came back home. बहुत भारी रोल था. तो मैंने दिमाग में सोचा कि यार why me? बहुत सारे एक्टर्स हैं इस इंडस्ट्री में. But I understood then the reason as to why Meghna ji probably would have asked me to do it. Because एक तो comfort level was very high. I had worked with her in Talwar. It was the same kind of this, strict. Here I played negative. There in Raazi I played
authoritarian.
I played kind of a strict army officer, like how army officers are supposed to be. So I landed that role and then I went and met Meghna ji, and it was because it was a lot of Urdu in it. And we had to speak Urdu correctly because ek to Gulzar sahab was involved, दूसरा Meghna ji was directing the film, so Urdu cannot go wrong. तो हम rehearsals खूब किया करते थे. विकी के साथ rehearsals की, रजत के साथ rehearsals की, एक फिर पूरी table read हुई पूरे cast के साथ. Before we started shooting, went on the floors. और फिर हमने shooting शुरू की. बम्बई में set लगा हुआ था. जो घर आप देखते हैं राजी में, वो actual set है वो घर.
The entire house.
Yeah, the entire house was a set. It was matched, I think, if I am correct, it was matched to a house in Chandigarh. So she wanted a house exactly like that. And that is how the house was done. And that is how a set was made. So when I reached the set, it didn't seem like a set to me. It seemed like a house.
Full-fledged.
It seemed like a home of this army family.
In Pakistan.
In Pakistan. And as army families should be. एक decorum होता है,
Yeah.
एक etiquette होता है, एक protocol होता है. So we created the family within ourselves. That table that you see, the people sitting on the table sat as a family. There was no individual that was in isolation. I was never in isolation. Yes, I was the head of the family. Vicky was on this side. Ashwata was on this side.
Yep.
उसकी बीवी वहाँ, इसकी बीवी यहाँ. So it was a family which was shown as a family. Pakistanis can also be shown in a humane light. It is not
That was
necessary.
another aspect, it brought to the audience that,
Yes.
Pakistani family can be middle
Absolutely.
class, absolutely normal.
Absolutely
families.
normal. Every Pakistani is not a black sheep, yeah.
I mean, media and
They made it out to
contributed
be.
to,
They
even
made it
the
out to be.
movies
Yeah.
have made it so wrong
Yeah,
impression.
they made it out to be. We showed the humane aspect of a Pakistani family. We acted like a family. We performed like a family. We behaved like a family. And I think that was the biggest USP. Of course, Alia did a phenomenal job in Raazi. At that age, when she was 25, I think, she did that film, and she did a phenomenal job. Meghna ji is a par excellence director, methodical, meticulous to the T.
When the project was conceived and the execution started, what was the gap?
We started there was hardly any gap between the way when she conceived the project and I think it was a couple of months, if I'm not mistaken.
So your entire crew or the key members are aware about the script and the story.
Yeah.
From
Yeah.
begin to end.
Yeah.
So the question I had is one of the critical. It's nothing related to you, but the story. It was adapted from a novel.
No.
The Raazi story.
No.
It was a real life story.
Yeah, no, but that's wrong.
Okay.
It's got nothing to do with the book.
Okay.
That book was written by Harinder Sikka.
Yeah.
It was called Sehmat.
Yeah, Sehmat.
Yeah. So, no, Meghna ji had written this screenplay with another lady by the name of Bhavani Iyer.
Yeah.
Both of them wrote the screenplay of Sehmat.
Okay.
They were going to call it Sehmat.
Yeah.
But they decided against calling Sehmat. They called it Raazi. It means the same.
It means the same, exactly. So the narrative build around that is, I just need your opinion. The narrative build around that is at the end of the movie, when Alia Bhatt come back to India, she actually has a lot of remorse that why she did whatever, she killed a couple of people back in Pakistan and all. Whereas the narrative says that, or build that, actually the actual lady who came back to India has celebrated, that entire.
Yeah,
project.
I mean, see, that is why I'm saying it was not the book that influenced.
It wasn't adaptation of the book.
No, definitely not.
Have you ever been refused in a film or project?
I have refused, but I've never been
Okay.
refused.
No, both. Have you refused?
Yeah, I have refused. I mean, it all depends on what kind of work there is. I mean, see, there is a certain motivation for an actor. It's either got to be a very good part. If it is a small part, it has to be a meaty part. And then money has to be.
Of course. Absolutely.
I'm not saying money is the only criteria. I'm saying there is a possibility that suppose you get a part which is for 4 days of work. It's a meaty part. It's a very important part in the film. And they give you the money, then I think you should do it. But if you do a film by just doing it for money, I sometimes I do it, but most often I don't.
And why not?
Yeah, why not? I mean, it all depends on the individual. I mean, I'm not saying that I have refused the film because of certain things. I have refused films because the character did not inspire me. There was nothing that I wanted in the character that I have not done before. Sometimes you get certain characters because you're doing certain roles. They tell you, okay, now we have got this character for you. I know your next question is what it's going to be.
I know.
So I'll answer that question right away. When you get typecast in a character, let's say I get typecast as in the army, in the military or the army, I play a general, Indian general, I play a Pakistani general. I'm not typecast. I don't think the word typecast means doing two separate generals of two separate armies. When you're typecast, you're doing a police inspector every film. That is what you're typecast. I'm playing a general in Indian General, you saw me in Ori. It was completely different than what I did in Raazi. So I'm not typecast. Yeah, they give me that role, those kind of roles because of my persona. That's what I'm saying again and again. I get those kind of roles. I get, maybe my face says, no, I'm a very strict person or I'm a disciplinarian, but I'm not. In real life, I'm not. I'm a pretty jovial kind
Normal
of a
guy.
person. So
Have you ever feared of, that was actually my question, but you brought it typecast. Most of your roles are either up to once you got into OTT, you're either some sort of authoritarian role because your persona says
yes,
a lot of authority.
that's why.
Have you ever told on the face to the whosoever is decision maker that if it is again a general role, I'm not doing it?
No, I've never said that. And I don't mind doing it because I know that if I have to play a army general from some other army, it'll be a completely different army. It'll be a completely different general. Necessarily does not, no two generals are the same from the army. From two different armies, they have different mannerisms. They have different ways of talking. They have different body language. So it's all dependent on you, how you manage to perceive that character that you want to play.
One of the other aspect much talked about is the camps in Bollywood, the Bhatt camp, the Karan Johar camp, the XYZ camp. How true it is?
I am not concerned with those camps. Whether they have it or they don't have it doesn't make a damn difference to me.
Has it ever affected in your
Never.
selection?
Never.
And you have worked on many projects in South,
Yes.
predominantly Telugu.
Yes.
Tell me, what do you find a key difference between a project in South versus project in Hindi film industry?
Professionalism.
Yeah.
Huge amount of professionalism in the South. They know what they want. They know why they're doing it. They don't faff around. They don't waste time. They're there, shoot, finish, get out. You don't come to your van, speak for 10 hours out of working for 12 hours. You speak for 6 hours in your van. And no, that doesn't happen in the South. It's always you finish your work and get out. Those actors, those stars are not stars. Those stars are actors. There's a lot of difference.
What is the difference between star and actor, according to you?
Lots of people call me a star. I say, no, I'm not one. I'm an actor. I do my job. When you're a star, you behave like one. I don't behave like one. You see most of the stars, how they behave. Naseeruddin Shah is an actor par excellence. He's also a star in his own way.
Does the word character artist offend you?
No, not at all. I am one. So why should it offend me? I don't get offended by these kind of remarks.
And nowadays, back in the days, things were different. But nowadays, roles are written or being written for the keeping the character artist in mind.
Quite right. And I'm glad that somebody has suddenly thought of character artists in this industry because they play a very significant role in a film.
Not only significant, they are backbones of some of the multi-star
absolutely
projects.
Absolutely. Very true. Very true. And that is why if you're a character artist and if you get a meaty role in a film, vis-a-vis a role in a film which gives you more money, I would do the role that gives me the meat rather than the money. Because you're expressing yourself. I'm not proving anything to anyone. I don't want to prove anything to either myself or to you. I'm doing it because there's a certain amount of meat that I will get out of the film. That juice that will come out of my portrayal of of that particular character will be far more greater than me taking money for a film which has no meaning for me, where there is nothing. People will see the film and say, "Acha, theek hai." But people will see a film and say, "Oh, you did that film." That is the difference.
People will say, who was that artist?
Correct. That is the difference.
And with the Southern film industry, you worked in an original movie of Joshi, which was initially made in Telugu.
Yes.
Yeah. But you were not part of the Hindi version.
Yeah.
And there is a story behind it.
Yeah.
Do you mind elaborating that? I know backstory, but I want you to elaborate.
Well, I when I did Joshi, the Telugu one, I was very happy because it turned out to be a fantastic film. I spoke my own lines. I dubbed my own lines in Telugu. All my films, I have dubbed my lines. And when I told Gautam, the director of the Telugu film, who was also doing the Hindi film, I asked him, I said, Gautam, give me a role in your film. Let me do the same role that I did in the Telugu. He said, no, sir, the producers are saying you're a Telugu actor. Telugu actor.
Was it a real reason? Do you think?
I don't know what the reason was. That was a rather stupid reason
Stupid reason. That's why.
to
The question
give
is.
Gautam, the director, that I'm a Telugu actor when everybody knows that I'm not a Telugu actor. I'm a Hindi actor. What they probably meant by saying that was that I've just done a Telugu Joshi, so they don't want me. They want some fresh faces in the Hindi one. Probably that's the. I think Rituraj did the role that I played in the Hindi version.
Did you like the?
I have not seen the Hindi version.
Do you want to see?
I don't know. I know what the film is, so it won't really attract me to.
How do you deal with those grudges? Do you keep it, or
No,
do you use
no,
it as
no,
an
no.
energy?
No, I've forgotten. We had a nice laugh over it, and whenever I go to Hyderabad, I make it a point to call Gautam or have a drink with him or have a cup of coffee with him or have a dinner with him, whatever it is. But we are great friends, and I know that if there is anything that will come up for my kind of persona, for my kind of face, for my kind of character, he will definitely call me. That much, that confidence I have in him.
Now, finally, to your digital realm, your OTT debut with Permanent Roommates.
Yes.
Out of all the role you have done, I really personally touched the father figure you have played in Permanent Roommate. What was that entire process? How did you get the role? Because you were focusing on either stage or movies.
Yes.
So, and I think back in 2015, no, TVF started in 2013 or 14.
We did this in, I think, 2015. We did
The
season
Permanent
1.
Roommate came in 2015, but TVF as a company was conceived and started in sometime around 2013. And it was quite a new venture for even Indian audience. That
was the first thing that came on the web in India.
In India, the OTT, first OTT.
First OTT. Yeah. I can say. I don't know how I was asked to do that role. I don't even remember. I don't recollect at all. But that I know this much, that we were very, very nervous. We were at the same time, very happy to do a show like that. When we saw the show, and we laughed. I always tell people, if you want a stress buster, watch Permanent Roommates. You will forget everything else. Because Sumit and Nidhi was so good. Yeah. And so funny. Sumit, of course, is a fabulous actor. Anyway, so is Nidhi. So, I had a great time. I never knew them. I met them for the first time on the sets of Permanent Roommates. And Sameer and Biswapati, both the director and the creator of Permanent Roommates. Fantastic. I mean, what a concept.
Is a gem of a writer.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant concept. So we did season 1. Then because season 1 was so popular, we did season 2, in which there was Shiba Chadda, there was Darshan Jariwala, there was Asrani Sahab. So all of us were there, and we had a great time. I mean, it was a ball, rollicking all the way.
So during the season 1, what was going on in your mind? That
nothing. I just acted myself. They said, don't do any acting. Just be Shishir Sharma.
Be yourself.
You just be a father.
But there was something going on back in your mind that this is OTT. Nobody knows what exactly
हमें खुद नहीं पता था कि OTT है कि किधर आने वाला है, क्या होने वाला है.
Or you were not aware that?
No, we were not aware. I mean, yes, we were aware that it's going to, it's the internet and so on and so forth. So we used to shoot in people's houses in Mira Road. Never shot in any other location other than Mira Road. Everything was in Mira Road. Whether it was the house, whether it was the road, whether it was a cafe, everything was in Mira Road. I acted myself what a father would be and how a father would be. When she asks, when I say, what about you're sleeping with him? And so that whole dialogue, I just acted myself. I was so shy.
That has become a stepping stone of what the modern age father look like. in most, be it in the movies, be it in any other OTT, that is taken as a stepping stone, that this is how the new age father should look like in a quite positive way.
Yes.
So
we're very positive. I mean, we had a ball shooting Permanent Roommate. Second season, though, it was even worse, because then Aisha, Kumu's wife, Aisha Raza, also came on board. And I mean, there was one scene where me and Aisha are talking in the room, and suddenly the door opens and Sumit crosses, comes back, and he just says the word cool. That's all. The way he says it, I am not joking, Viral. We stopped for half an hour. Because every time he said that, we used to laugh. So the director said, "Arey yaar, chal na, time ho raha hai yaar. It's bloody 9 o'clock already. How long will you want to shoot?" I said, what can I do? I mean, this guy is saying it in a way that we just burst out laughing. Can't control. So then we told Sumit, go in and say cool.
Cool.
So, yeah, those were the kind of, fun times we had. Then we shot season 3 now, after 7 years of season 2.
And I've heard you haven't got paid in season 1. Is that true?
Little bit, we got paid. I don't even remember whether we got paid or not. But that was immaterial to us because we were doing this for the first time.
For the larger good.
We wanted to do something. So we did it.
So you didn't know Biswapati Sarkar?
No, I didn't know anybody.
So what was the inspiration then?
Nothing. There was no inspiration. I mean, they told me, you're an actor, you act. Let's see what happens. And we went with the flow. They loved it. So we kept it. And they were great. Biswapati was fantastic. So is Samir. Now they started their own company, Pochampa. And they did Kalapani.
Yeah.
They've done Kalapani.
Yeah.
And somebody else directed season 3. So it was something else. Yeah, I mean, I cannot even describe how I felt after doing Permanent Roommates. Even now, even season 3, it brings back a lot of memories of season 1 and season 2, the way we used to shoot and where we used to shoot. It was great fun. I wish they do season 4. Let's hope. I hope it's done well on Prime.
I think that is one of the OTT web series entire India is waiting.
Yeah, because it just went completely viral, the season 3, completely viral. Every time I meet somebody at the airport or in a restaurant or walking on the road, they stop by and say, we saw Permanent Roommates.
Do you see the penetration of internet had played a huge role?
It has played a huge role, but I sometimes get scared. To see the kind of shows that are being churned out on the internet, on the web, on the OTT platforms.
Do you want to name a few?
No, I don't want to name because of the unnecessary usage of foul language.
Foul languages.
Unnecessary usage of sex and nudity. It is not necessary to titillate the audience here.
Yeah.
Why do you want to titillate the audience? I have done clean shows. I have done Permanent Roommates. I have done What the Folk. What the Folks, 4 seasons have come. I was in 2, second and third. Me and Renuka Shani. It is one of the cleanest shows. So is Permanent Roommates. It is not necessary to use foul language because you want the TRPs or because you want to titillate the audience. What is a necessity?
If there is a necessity, do you?
If there is a necessity in the script, please go by all means use it. But if there is no necessity, there is absolutely no necessity to use it. Just because there is a trend that has come about in the OTT web series that no, every second show that comes is this. Why?
Because of lack of censor board, probably.
It is lack of censorship, surely.
But censorship has taken, in both negative and positive ways. Certain commercial cinemas, censorship is big hurdle for them to portray a correct and actual real aspect of that.
Well, that doesn't mean that you show anything and everything
exactly. That
on the
doesn't
web.
mean the otherwise as well.
You're taking liberty unnecessarily. You're taking the advantage of.
You're taking the advantage.
Yeah, you're taking advantage of there not being any kind of legislation on censorship. True. Why do you want to do that? Can't you make clean shows? Is it not necessary for you to make clean shows so that the entire family can sit rather than you cringing?
That is most important thing.
Yeah, rather than you cringing in your seat, your daughter sitting there, suddenly a scene comes, you don't know how to, what kind of reaction to give because she's sitting there, she's underage and you're suddenly watching something and suddenly that scene comes. What do? You switch off the television? She'll understand why you're switching off the television. So
kids are smart enough.
How do you? I know kids are smart. I know probably they know more than
us.
But is it necessary to announce it? No, it's not. Can't you do a clean show? Sit with the family, खाना खाओ, बातचीत करो, show देखो, हंसी मजाक करो. जरूरी नहीं है कि हाँ जो adult shows हैं वो adult shows हैं. वो आप रात को भी देख सकते हैं. It's not necessary. But there's got to be a time when parents can watch certain shows with their children as well.
There has to be a family value.
Yeah. So I think it is very necessary for self-censorship to happen.
Do you talk on this topic to any of your film fraternity?
Because they are so divided. They refuse and refrain to talk about these aspects. As long as it's happening, let it happen. Because once the censorship comes in, then there'll be problems. Because then whatever aspirations or whatever mentally, if you've thought about showing certain nudity or certain foul language or violence, it's all gone out of the window.
It's gone.
Finished. What do you do then? Because your mindset is like that. You cannot think without those little, things in the series. Then you can't think. You don't know how to make
Clean show.
clean shows. You have to. You have to try at least. You cannot keep doing the same thing over and over again.
Do you really feel that since those shows or those languages or those content is being celebrated, that's the reason they are more encouraged to do
Because we're
those-
aping the West too much. There's a lot of things that are happening in the West. आप हिंदी में गाली दो और इंग्लिश में वही गाली दो, जमीन आसमान का अंतर है. So they are just translating whatever is being said in English into Hindi, which it sounds very crass. It sounds terrible. So why are you aping the West?
feel like bullying.
There are so many original stories that you can get here. Is it necessary for you to ape the West? Is it necessary for you to take films or web series or the stories from certain web series which have done well probably in the West and then make it into Hindi? It doesn't work that way. 24 was one series which did not work. Anil Kapoor's.
Anil Kapoor. Yeah.
I think they did 2 seasons, but that's it. Whereas the American 24 had 8 seasons. So why do you want to do
Not
that?
everything translates.
Doesn't
correct.
translate into something which you think will make you a bigger, man or earn more money for you or your production company or whatever it is. You can do with the same money, you can get an original story written and shoot it. So I think there's got to be self-censorship to a certain extent because I find it now going out of hand.
Do you ever fail to get into the director seat?
No,
Never.
I'm very happy. It's too much work, yeah. Much too much work.
Do you write little?
I do. I used to. Yeah, I sometimes जब मूड होता है तब मैं थोड़ा बहुत कुछ लिख देता हूँ. बहुत टाइम से लिखा नहीं. I have to complete my father's memoirs also. I'm writing something which is not autobiographical, but I'm writing the way he started in life because he was a self-made man. He started at the salary of 150 rupees a month. And he grew up to becoming a pretty successful businessman by the time he died. So I want to, chronicle his right from those days where we used to stay in a one-room kitchen, five of us in a one-room kitchen after I was born. How he started off from there, how he became a traveling salesman, and he used to earn money. My mother and my father, both of them were in theater at that time.
Oh, I didn't know. Your mother was in theater as well.
Yeah, my
Oh,
mother
okay.
acted. My father was also a part of a theater group called IPTA. Later on then he joined forces with Mr. Balraj Sahni and did, I don't know whether you heard of a film called Garam Hawa.
Balraj Sahani?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, no.
Yeah. So Balraj Sahni's Garam Hawa was the last film. M.S. Satyu is the director of the film. So my father was also one of the producers of the film, along with NFDC, at that time FFC, Film Finance Corporation. And he started off with a group called Juart's Theatre with Mr. Balraj Sahni at that time. And so they used to do theatre and he used to work as a traveling salesman. But because he was so involved in his business, he didn't give too much time to theatre, whereas my mom did give a lot of time to theatre. And she got married pretty early. She got married at the age of 15.
Back in the days, this was a trend, I guess.
She got married at the age of 15. I think I was born in after 4 years of her marriage when she was 19.
Wow.
Yeah, I was born in 1955. So they tried to sustain from both sides. But that's what I'm writing. And I feel sad that I have not written a lot.
Once you finish, do you plan to convert into some sort of...
I'll try and convert that, but I have to write a lot. And now it is only in my head. I've written some, but now it's only in my head. I want to chronicle it properly. Who came in contact with him, how he created himself, or how he created a niche as a businessman in his life, how he was politically correct in certain aspects. And he was a very frank man. अगर अच्छा लगे हाँ बोलते थे, नहीं अच्छा लगे ना बोलते थे. So he was that kind of a gentleman. So yeah, I mean, I learned a lot from him. I learned the tricks of the trade, the ropes of the business. I did a lot of work with him since 1978. Since the time I got married, I was with him and worked till he died. And he died in 2003. So he told me that if you want to continue business, you can. I will continue business till such time you're acting. You please carry on because you seem to be good in it. And after my death, if you want to close down the business, you're most welcome to do so.
Did he admire any of your project or did he...
Yes, yes. In fact, the night he went to bed and next morning never woke up was a serial that I was doing called Mulk.
Mulk?
It was on the partition.
Mhm.
I was playing the title role in that. It was on Z at that time. And that was, we were not at home. That was the 100th episode of my show. And I wanted to be home, but I couldn't because we had to go for a wedding. So he told my maid, come, today's Dadu's 100th episode. Let us watch it together. He was fond of drinking. So he may have had more than the quota that is normally allowed to him when we are at home.
Yeah.
So उस दिन हम लोग घर पे नहीं थे, so he may have had probably a peg more. And हम लोग आए वापस सो गए. He also went off to bed. My mother came next morning, came down. I used to stay ground floor. They used to stay on the first floor. So she came down, had a cup of tea with us. And it was 9 o'clock. So I said, आज पापा को ऑफिस नहीं जाना है क्या? Oh, 9 o'clock मैं जाके उठाती हूँ और पूछती हूँ उनको कितने बजे निकलना है. Then accordingly, you also get ready. So I said, okay. So she went up and she called out to him. And he did not respond. And he was lying on his stomach. He did not respond. When she threw the blanket, he was all blue. And she screamed. She screamed so loud that most of the people in the building heard. And we ran upstairs and she was completely devastated by his death. And we had to calm her down and give her some calming medicines because she just could not believe the fact that he had gone. And
what was his age?
He was 74 when he died. And we called up. Another very uncanny thing happened that night. In fact, he called up MS Satya and his classmate, Mr. Tilochan Singh Sahani, who later on became the chairman of a very big company called Needle Roller Bearings. He called them up and he said, पता नहीं कल मैं तुमसे बात कर पाऊंगा कि नहीं, इसलिए मैंने सोचा आज ही बात कर लूं. So I don't know, it was rather uncanny that he had that kind of an intuition, whether he'd be there tomorrow or not.
He might mean something else, but then...
पता नहीं, हाँ वो दारू पीने के बाद बोलते हैं ना, पता नहीं यार कल रहेंगे कि नहीं रहेंगे, आज ही बात कर लेते हैं. तो कभी कभी वो जोवियल मैनर में कुछ कह देते हैं, पता नहीं चलता है बाद में. So he said that and he went out to sleep. And then next day, we were told by both of them that this was the kind of phone call that we got from your dad. I said, well, probably he had an intuition of some kind. I don't know. And Satya was a very, very dear friend of his. And so was Mr. Tilochan Singh Sahni. They were classmates and they grew up together. In fact, my father was a traveling salesman for Mr. Sahni's father, selling spare parts.
Okay.
So I want to chronicle all these, incidents. I want to put them together right from the time he started life, where he had 5 of us in one room kitchen in Vele Parle. I don't know whether you're aware of Mumbai or not.
Of course, I know.
So on SV Road, there's Golden Tobacco factory, cigarette factory. So behind that, there was a chawl. तो हम लोग उस chawl में रहा करते थे. And he brought 5 of us up. My uncle, that is my father's younger brother, myself, my mom, dad, and पिताजी के एक बहुत अजीज दोस्त थे दिल्ली से, Mr. Chakravarti, who later on became his partner in business. So he also used to stay with us. So 5 of us, of course I was very small, 5 of us, feeding a family of 5 with just one salary.
One salary.
Was quite difficult.
You can only imagine.
Yeah, in those days 150 रुपए भी बहुत हुआ करते थे, लेकिन उस हिसाब से खाने के लिए भी कुछ चीजें चाहिए होती थी. उसके लिए
half
भी
of the
पैसे.
life goes into managing, the next day.
He taught me a lot of things. He taught me discipline. He taught me how to be methodical. He taught me how to be meticulous in life, especially in business. What to do in business, what not to do in business, how to behave with. And we used to do foreign trade. So we were dealing only with people from abroad, especially from the East European countries, Czechoslovakia, Poland, and so on and so forth. So he taught me how to do business with them. Even after his heart attack in 1980, that's when I learnt the ropes of the business, the tricks of the trade. He told me everything after that. It was a blessing in disguise, a sad one, but yes, it was, although a sad one, but it was a blessing in disguise. He got a heart attack in Bratislava, which is now the capital of Slovakia. That time it was Czechoslovakia only. And we were not told about it. I rushed. In 2 hours I got my visa, got my ticket and I flew out. मुझे बिजनेस के बारे में कुछ भी नहीं पता था, कुछ भी नहीं. 2 ही साल हुए थे बिजनेस में. फॉरेन ट्रेड में बहुत कुछ सीखने को मिलता है, होता भी है सीखने के लायक. So I reached there and he was there on a wheelchair and I was completely, I don't know how I felt also at that time, because मैंने कहा अगर ही कुछ हो जाता तो बिजनेस कौन संभाल. I had no inclination. I absolutely no inclination as to how he was. When I spoke to the doctors, then the doctors told me what had happened to him. And then I said, oh, thank God for the hospital and the doctors who looked after him.
At that time, were you associated with stage or
Yeah.
theater? So was there a second thought?
No, I used to do stage and I used to do business. तो मैं शाम को ऑफिस से सीधा थिएटर जाता था. हम लोग रिहर्सल वहर्सल कुछ भी नहीं करते थे. कभी कभी हमारे पास कुछ था भी नहीं रिहर्सल करने के लिए. बस ऐसे ही बैठते थे और गपशप करते थे. That is why I say, these youngsters, that even if you don't have anything to discuss about a play, talk theater. Increase your knowledge, increase your enthusiasm about and the awareness of doing theater, which is so important. तो बस ऐसे ही जिंदगी गुजर गई और अभी हम यहाँ हैं.
So the thing you're writing, the story or script, who do you think is a first choice, given a choice, who can portray the character your father is in current?
I don't know. I've never thought that far. I want to first complete in a point form. I want to first chronicle the events that have happened in his life. And then I will try and write it in my own words.
You're still just arranging it.
Yeah, I'm still arranging it. I have arranged quite a bit, but I'm still to arrange. I know what I have done from the early part of his life. From the time he started, then my sister was born. She's 6 years younger than me. How difficult it was for him. It was like hand to mouth kind of living then. And so I want to chronicle it right from the time my parents met each other from that time. So I know there are certain stories that have been told to me. I want to put them down on paper and make it slightly, not that serious. I want to make it a little kind of funny. Thoda sa. And then, of course, it gets serious because he was a very serious man and he was an extrovert, totally, completely opposite of what I was. I was a completely introverted man, never shared anything with anyone, kept it all within me, good, bad, ugly, doesn't matter. But I didn't share anything with anyone. Of course, now after marriage, it became a different ball game altogether. But I've been married now, 1978. I got married, 22nd April, 1978. So this is 2023. Yeah, so 45 years.
Soon you will hit 50.
Yeah. No, but I've known my wife for 6 years prior to marriage. So we've already hit 50.
Oh, that's nice. Before we end the show, last question. Given a project in a stage in commercial Bollywood...
Stage.
In commercial Bollywood...
Stage. I'm saying stage. Don't go beyond that.
Third option is there.
No, don't go beyond that.
Stage director doing OTT.
Stage.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Shishir.
Thank you
for your time. We never thought that, a stature like you come to Sydney and having graced their presence in Curious Banter podcast.
Thank you so much.
It was a lovely catching up with you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.